Hello again, boat builders. If you're new to my channel, my name is Wayne Johnson. What you see in front of me is my latest project. In the last year or so, I've been building yet another classic wooden boat. This one, the Catboat Trio, built in the late 1800s by the famous New England Crosby family. The plans were drawn by the Mystic Seaport Museum from one of their few surviving trios. I have modified the construction in several ways to make the hull more resistant to rotting and to be more easily loaded on and off a trailer. One of the most problematic features of any traditional catboat is the inevitable heaviness of their masts. Most traditional catboats have a mast with at most a forestay, resulting in the need for a mast of larger diameter and consequently greater weight in order to be stiff enough to handle the sail forces without shrouds. Traditionally, these relatively heavy masts were set with a crane. Due to the cost and inconvenience, some builders of trailerable catboats opted to replace the keel step masts with masts on a tabernacle of one form or another. This video takes a look at my solution. In an upcoming video, I will discuss the strength and stiffness of solid wooden masts and how to ensure that the relatively lighter hollow mast can be of equal or greater strength and stiffness. But because my Tabernacle hardware is not directly related to hollow mast stiffness considerations, I decided to make this separate video to describe it, with the hope that its features may be of interest to those of you who are considering keeping your sailboat on a trailer. The Tabernacle consists of two parts: an upper pipe, which is pinned to the lower part with a bolt that can be removed so you can remove the mast. The lower part, though it's not permanently fixed, it pretty much remains with the boat when you're moving it. And so when you want to raise your mast, it pivots on this slotted groove. Then you lift it up and drop it in, and she's locked in place. The upper part will be in the internal hollow part of the mast, and the lower part will be sheathed so that it looks like continuation of the upper part. Let me show you the details. Starting at the bottom, we have a tabernacle foot, and you'll have to build this to shape of your boat. You can see it's got a little bit of a bevel on it for this boat, and it'll sit in the appropriate place right below the mast partner hole. It'll be lag bolted to the boat, but I won't do that until I get the boat floating in water so I can make the mast vertical. The tabernacle proper consists of this 3-inch pipe in my case, and then I cut it halfway through and removed half the pipe. This distance will depend on the dimensions of your boat. I reinforced this portion of the pipe because of obviously it's weaker with this flat bar, and then the bar is a mounting point for an adapter for the boom gooseneck, and then this hole is for the tack. Then I welded 2 plates at the end and cut these grooves in to accept that bolt. This will all be sheathed with wood to hide the metal. The length of the pipe should be determined by the height that you want the mast to lay on your boat when you're in transport. In my case, it's about this high. The point at which you slice the pipe in half should be approximately where the gooseneck is attached to the boom. That keeps this portion of the pipe as strong as possible. The length of this groove should be long enough. I've got about 2 inches here, so that the bottom of the upper pipe is well into the solid part of the lower part of the tabernacle. This whole unit will stay in position once you attach the forestay from the top of the mast to the bow. That'll also hold the tabernacle into the foot. One of the big problems that is created with when you use a tabernacle is in the raising process, you have all that weight of the mast in a horizontal position. And if your boat is leaning a little bit or there's wind or anything like that, it can create a torque. And if there isn't some kind of allowance, then you could damage your tabernacle. So what I'll do is either right here at the bow or down on the foot, I'll build in a shear pin so that if there's any excessive forces torquing the tabernacle, the shear pin will fail. Raising the mast will be in a traditional fence and putting some kind of a strut sticking out to deflect the forces and then pulling the mast into the vertical position. I'll be doing that off of an adapter on the trailer itself. Once it's in the vertical position, the weight to hold it vertical is minimal, so you can release that tension on your jack system and just raise the mast up and put it in place. I made this crude animation to suggest how the tabernacle will appear when fully incorporated into a wooden mast. I will film the operation of the actual mast when I've completed it. Stay tuned. And as promised, I will soon post a video covering the strength and stiffness of hollow masts in comparison to any solid mast that it could potentially replace. Until then,